everybody, Kevin Baker and Brian Franz with Sentinel Emergency Solutions, standing in front of Eli Lilly's brand new Rosenbauer industrial pumper. I think this is number 2 for Rosenbauer on the industrial side, right, Brian?
Yeah, the first one, I think it was at FDIC last year. It was blue and silver, maybe, for stress going, something like that. But this one's almost identical to it with a couple of changes specific for Eli Lilly. So what are some of the features here, Kev?
Yeah, some of the fun facts here. That's 60-inch cab with a 24-inch raised roof, the bustle back. So we've got an enclosure inside. We'll see that in a minute. We got seating for 4 driver, officer, and 2 rear-facing seats. We've got 24,000-pound front and a 35,000-pound rear axle. For gross vehicle weight of 59,000, we're estimating right now about 56,000 pounds on this truck.
Which is big for a truck. That's not normal necessarily,
right. But
on a big pumper like this, you're gonna need every bit of it.
Yep. Overall length is gonna be 37 feet, 11 inches with an overall height of 12 foot. It's powered by a Cummins X15 605 horsepower motor, and it's driven by a 4,000 Allison transmission.
Yep.
Got a 68-gallon fuel tank, and it's got our Rosenbauer electrical system inside it.
Yeah, the LCS system, right? Yeah, which then has the cameras and anyway, all that stuff.
Yep.
So totally.
So at the front of the truck, we've got a 2.5 on the front discharge here, and then just some hose storage here for pre-connect front bumper line. Okay, kind of coming around to the side here, you'll notice we got 360 camera system on this truck as well. One of the cool things you'll see when we get inside the cab though is how it all shows out and displayed. All right. So on the dash there, you can see one of our LCS screens. We got one on the officer side as well. And then kind of as we come back through, a little teaser here inside the cab, but this thing is massive. So we'll show you guys up there in a minute what all the DJ stuff is if you've seen Grace's previous video, okay?
Hey, I think right now, Kev, is a good time to talk about too. So this is the bustle back is what we call it. So you can see it's an actual separate piece almost. We cut the back of the Commander out, and then we put this on there. So with our top mount enclosed cabs like this would be, with all the pump panel stuff in there, it gives that operator just a ton of visibility from inside the cab. So when you hear the word bustle back coming out of us, that's what this thing is.
Yep, great. So Brian, I think we're to your specialty right here, the pump.
Yeah, my specialty. I had to take notes for this. Okay, so this has the Rosenbauer N130 pump in it. So this particular truck has a 3,500 GPM capacity, but the N130, I think, is 6,500 GPM total coming out of it. So pretty neat thing. It's got 2 6-inch intakes, obviously, on both sides of the truck here for a total of 4. And then some LDHs, some 2.5s, a foam direct intake. What is this? 750 water, 500 foam, I think?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it's got kind of a ton. It kind of varies on the trucks. Some guys won't have any kind of water on them at all. We've seen trucks that are 1,000 gallons of pure foam. Others have a smaller amount, so it just kind of varies. But 500 foam, 750 gallons of water.
Yep.
The monitor up top, that is the deck gun. All right, I know it looks crazy, because it is crazy, but that's the deck gun. So that's the Rosenbauer RM130, 4,000 gallons per minute out of that one. And then we've got 2 on the back of the truck. Each one of those, that's the RM35. Each one of those are designed at 1,250 gallons of water per minute coming out of them. So we've been asked a lot of questions on why that piece is on the back behind the roll-up door. Yep. That is the plumbing for the monitor going up to those rear discharges. So it's another thing. There's a lot of, with the foam and all those things, there's some things that are just different on this particular truck. So huge pump, huge water flow. Kevin and I were talking about it'd be awesome to go see this thing when they're doing the training just to see its true capacity.
Yep.
So
it's gonna have a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna go back inside here in a minute, right? So we'll keep going around.
Yeah, we'll keep going around. A couple things I want to point out though. On top of the cab there, we got a Wilbert light tower. It's a 10-foot mast with 4 Whelen Pioneer Pluses. So those are 15,000 lumens per light head, so a total of 60,000 lumens on that light tower coming out of that thing. So that's pretty massive. And
then it looks like high-vis scene lights throughout the rest of the truck.
We got high-vis scene lights all the way around the Guardian Elites, and then we got Whelen warning light package on this truck as well.
Light tower for the light tower controller is sitting right in here.
Yep.
So obviously with this big of a pump, you got a ton of stuff going on in the discharges, but a little nook right here for that. Pretty cool, and I think it's kind of neat to look in here. I mean, if you're a fire truck person at all, you look at that and go, oh my gosh, there's just a ton of stuff going on inside the pump house. So.
I would say the mechanics are going to love to be in there doing some service, right?
Those Sentinel mechanics might be fired up when they got to start working on this thing, but there's a lot going on in there.
Yep. So you'll see here we've got a Harrison readout for hydraulic generators. So we have a Harrison hydraulic generator 6 kW on here. So then you can see here we got just the breaker box for that. We have power outlets throughout this truck as well, just to give them some charging capabilities as they grow and need different things.
Which, Kev, let's talk about it for just a second. As we do this walk around video, we're trying to make them this year a little bit more in depth and just talk about more industry stuff. So that's kind of what we're seeing with generators, is either a 2,000 or 3,000 watt inverter or more of a smaller generator just to give them 110 power, right?
Absolutely, yep.
So this is kind of the norm now. It used to be 10, 15, 20 kW big hydraulic, and now these guys got the best of both worlds. So if this truck's sitting out there for 5 hours on an oil fire thing taking place or whatever, they still got 110 power, but it's not ginormous.
Exactly.
So a lot of these lights, I'm sure, are all 12 volt. The light tower might be 110 volt.
110, yep, absolutely. So the other cool thing we did with this truck is this is an all Rosenbauer or Sentinel provided shelving equipment upfitting. So we put a C-Tech toolbox on here, and you'll see as we kind of go around this truck too, some additional mounts. So SCBA mounts up here, or spare bottles. We have some spare bottle storage here, and then diesel, fuel, and def fill here.
Kev, check out this. Hang on, I know you're going.
Okay, you're going.
Check
through.
out. Just look at the size of this freaking monitor controller, right? It's huge. Everything that you can do from the monitor, you can do this. Each monitor can be driven from inside the cab, or they have this remote control as well. I just think this thing is, it doesn't look like all other monitors. It's cool.
Right. It is different because this is a Rosenbauer one, right? So it's not the Elkharts, the Akron controllers. It's a Rosenbauer exclusive piece there. So, yep, good, great point. So you'll notice in this compartment we did pack track on the back wall. We got a pull-out shelf, but as Brian said, if you notice here, we do have another controller for this deck gun back here as well. All right, kind of coming around to the back, we've got our Rosenbauer Easy Climb ladder. Just another little shelf we added here just to put a lip so things aren't falling off that upper area. And then we've got our hose bed up here.
A couple 2.5 inch discharges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here is the 240 volt, 50 amp shore power. So this would be something that they could run the HVAC inside the cab to keep their cab conditioned while they're not out on a call. So I'll run that. Brian, you want to take this side of the truck?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is pretty easy because, again, you did the same thing over there. But more Sentinel shelving over here. This one I think is pretty neat because we build a lot of these slide-out trays with some sides and a back wall. You see a lot of trays that have nothing and then stuff falls over. This allows them to mount things on the back wall, the sides, whatever it may be. More pack track, another controller sitting over here. So a ton of room. That other side had diesel fuel and def. More bottle storage inside of here. Tool boards, we still do a bunch of these tool boards. So pretty simple tool board just for mounting of axes and just obviously flat iron stuff. And then just more shelving, more slide out trays. For our fab department, this one was pretty simple compared to some of the ones that we've done. But it allowed Eli Lilly to kind of build it out the way that they wanted to. New York hook on the running board I thought was kind of cool, a little bit different. So just a ton. Up here on the side, we don't have the power on right now, but these two are water level gauges. So you got water and a foam level gauge big on the outside of the truck. A lot of times you see them on the back of the cab. I think that's the Rosenbauer one, right, Kev?
That is the Rosenbauer one.
So it's tied to the LCS.
Absolutely.
All right. So did we talk about on the other side? This is our 60-inch cab.
I don't think we mentioned it, but we didn't really specify it.
Yeah, I don't think we talked. So this is our 60 with the bustle back added to it. You can't do a 75 or a 78 or a 70, some of those. You get the 60, and then you add that on to it as well. So.
Yep. Okay, we're inside Eli Lilly's cab now, so just want to kind of give you a quick rundown of what's inside the cab. I'm up here in the front, so we've got our digital display on the instrument cluster for speed, fuel, all those good things. This is our electrical system, Rosenbauer LCS's logic control system. You'll see a bunch of different stuff on this screen. This is fairly new to Pumpers Industrial, but LCS been in Rosenbauer product for a long time, and Timberwolves and different stuff. So
yeah, the ARF trucks, we've been doing a ton of those on ARF trucks for a long time.
Yep. So inside here you can do everything. Turn on your warning lights, low beams, marker lights, engine brake controls. And you'll notice on this screen it's showing right now we have our deck guns deployed and they're up and running. So we can show that everything is on this truck off these screens. We can control our HVAC from inside here. We can raise and lower temperatures. As you can see, the dials go through, defrost. Everything you got in a car today you would have inside this logic control system. We can even start and stop this truck from the front or the back from these LCS screens. So just kind of a cool feature. All of our warning light options are on here, so we can turn everything on, or we can isolate front, rear, sides, and so on. Okay. The other option we have is our camera system. We got a 360 camera system, so we do have displays here. There's cool ones in the back too, though, that we'll show you in a little bit. So we can scroll through our camera views as we need to as well. So
there's also there's a screen over here as well.
Yep.
So driver and officer have the same functions, all that kind of stuff. You got your mirrors and your have a center console, yep, and all that kind of jazz. So
very good. I'll pass it back to Brian.
Okay, great. Yeah, good call. Good call. So like Kevin said, we got 4 seats total: driver's seat, officer, and then 2 rear-facing seats. Pretty normal for this situation. But we're now here on the pump panel area, which is just, it just seems like madness and craziness. But the way that they laid it out, I think is pretty neat personally. So up here, you got pretty simple stuff. You got your center deck gun, officer deck gun, and then your driver deck gun. So these controls, you can be standing here, fully control all operations of the deck guns, right? And then you got your, obviously, tank to pump, your intakes, and all that kind of stuff. But what makes it neat, what makes it a little bit different, these are the Elkhart Apex controllers, which I really like. And you can see on here, so there's PSI on the driver's side discharge, and then each discharge has its own metering valve for the foam system. So I can be flowing whatever it may be, 1% out of one discharge, 6% of another discharge, 3%, so on and so forth per discharge. Some of these have PSI, other ones like the deck gun here have PSI and GPM and flow built into it. So you got those features. So that's what all this is. So each discharge, each with a foam capability, deck guns, away you go. And then like Kevin was saying a little while ago, since we're inside here are all the different camera screens that we have to be able to look at. So the advantage of that situation, that's the 360. So now I can be in here. I got great visibility, but if I just can't see something, I got the cameras. I also have a thermal camera that we kind of put on the shop over there so that way you can see it. But at nighttime, there's a full thermal. That's what this controller here is for. That controls the thermal camera on the outside of the truck as well. So it looks complex, but I think it's pretty simple. Once you kind of get the feeling of what's going on, it's pretty simple. The LCS screen here in the middle is similar to what Kevin's was up front. You don't have HVAC and obviously Jake brake and some of those things, but the different screens back here allow you to go from your warning lights, your scene lights, there's pump features built in here, all those kind of things. So the Rosenbauer LCS system truly ties itself together in the entire truck. All right, so we just wrapped up the video here, going through it. Pretty awesome truck, right, Kev? I mean,
yep,
just a ton of stuff.
We're excited to deliver this. This is going to be at FDIC.
Yeah, you took my glory at the end. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's going to be at FDIC 2 weeks from today. Yeah. Right, it's whenever it opens, so come check out this truck at FDIC. Just a huge thank you to Eli Lilly and Company for working with us on this. Fire chief, all the men, the group that came here to do the shelving layout. Truly a group effort, truly a team effort. You know, something else that I think is neat about this is this was part of our quicker delivery program.
Yeah.
So Eli Lilly needed a truck. We had this one. I don't think, it was not a stock truck, but I think it was going through kind of the quick build, so it was already defined. So I think we delivered this thing 14 months, maybe 16 months. Did not have a 3 and 4 year delivery as this industry is used to, had a little bit quicker one. So if your department looking for a new truck, you can figure out some of those parameters that you have to have. We might have a truck that we can fit right in there.
Absolutely.
All right, very cool. Thank you again to Eli Lilly. Thank you for everything.